Hi, my name's Sam Thompson. I'm an Edinburgh tour guide and I've been a tour guide for 23 years and I guide all over Scotland. My company is Edinburgh Tour Guides if you actually want to come in person. But more importantly, if you like my channel, could you please like and subscribe? And if you've got anywhere you'd like to see, pop it in the comments, or if you've just anything you want to know, pop in the comments and I'll try to answer them all. Okay? Welcome to Dunglass Collegiate Church. Now we're in East Lothian in an area called Coburn's Path. The church itself was founded in the 1440s and it was dedicated to St Mary. It was at quite a strategic point of importance during the rough wooing in the 1540s, and it fell out of religious use during the Reformation in the 1560s, and then it was converted into farm buildings in the early 1700s, so it's been through quite a lot in its time. Now the term collegiate church covers a variety of sins, and collegiate churches were generally endowed by the great and the good and rich of the land. Each was served by a small religious community, and their primary role was actually to pray for the souls of their benefactors, his wife and his family. Now presumably the idea was to relieve the great and the good of onerous burdens of preying on their own souls. But anyway, it's a beautiful, I'm not going to say ruin because it's pretty much intact apart from the damage that's been done when it was converted into farm buildings. It's in an absolutely gorgeous setting, surrounded by trees, and you can hear the birds cheeping and things. It's on a big estate. The rest of the estate is private, so you have to drive through the estate to get to it, but there's parking, so you don't have to worry about that. And the big house is further away from here, so you can't really see it, but it's worth a little drive to come and have a look at. Now in the 1400s, lots of people actually believed that you could buy salvation, and that's why lots of these churches were founded. The Church of St Mary's the Virgin was founded by the Home family. In 1444, Sir Alexander Home sought to elevate it to a collegiate status. Isn't that beautiful? Now there are some tiny little signs that give you a little bit. So this is the nave, and it's part of the church where the laird's tenants worshipped. And you can see the beam holes just up here on both sides. By sort of 1451, the Pope confirmed the status of collegiate church, and the church was maintained by a college of priests who were to offer up prayers on behalf of Sir Alexander and Lady Home, along with their family. There's so much detail still surviving, considering this dates back to the 1400s. And you can see a little bit of the detail there on the windows. Now, the church is cross-shaped, and it's amazing that it's as complete as it is. And it retains the stone slabbed roof, some of the fine carvings or embellishments, if you like, inside the church. And it's built in this lovely pink sandstone. I don't know if that's quite coming across, but it's got a lovely pink hue to it, this sandstone. And we're surrounded by farmland and estates here. Now the central tower has a net over it to stop the pigeons getting us, but that's just looking straight up. You can see there's a floor above, and you can see where there was other floors at one point. Now the church, like I say, is cross-shaped. It has a vaulted nave, a choir, two transepts or cross arms, a central bell tower, and the lovely slabbed roof. Now this massive gaping hole was done when it was converted into farm buildings, unfortunately. So yes, quite a bit of damage done there. But we'll have a look at some of the detail that's still surviving. Look at that, isn't that amazing? Right. So this is the south transept that we're looking at just now. And it was added to the first church to provide extra chapel, and then it was later used as a burial aisle for the Hall family. Sir James Hall built it, and he also built, Sir James Hall built Dunglass House. So you can see quite a few of their stones here. Oops, I just upset a pigeon. It didn't poop on my head, so we're okay. And there's a little nest. It's okay, it wasn't that pigeon, that one's away. But it's amazing how nature takes over. And here we've got another door just leading it out. Now this was one of the finest. No expense was spared when this was built as a private chapel for the home family. You've got beautiful carved stonework. There's a 3-seated sedilia, I always get that word wrong, where the priests would sit during Mass. It's got an elaborately carved features. I'll show you that in a little while. It's just round the corner here. Yeah. It's amazing to think that this was actually turned into a stable. But yeah, so here we are. I know that it's worn, but you can still see some of the beautiful detail, the carvings. There are consecration crosses which are carved on the chancel walls and the sacristy, while the original chancel arch is decorated with Gothic capitals. Records tell us that in the 1444, priests wore black cloaks, and they had lambskin edging. By 1540, they had elaborate vestments of velvet cloth and gold. There you go. So this is just one of the other signs. These are quite new. So the choir, where the main altar stood, and we've just talked about the seats to the right there, and where the clergy sat during parts of the service. And we have these consecration symbols. Let me see if I can zoom into this for you. So you've got one there, and I'm trying to do this slowly. There's another one there. Will bring us back down. Here we are. It's just like everywhere, you have to continue to keep looking, look up, look down. So the sacristy, or the burial aisle, is part of the original church where the clergy prepared for the services, and it was the burial site for the home family. And let you have a little look at this board. Hopefully it's in focus. So it's showing you some of the details: the lion and the parrot, the woman's head, the angel playing the lute. So these are all things that we need to be looking for. And just down here you can see the stone slabs. Oh, sorry, there's light coming in. I'll come over here. Might make it easier to see. There. So some beautiful carvings just here. that's the angel playing the lute. We've got another carving here. And the one over here is damaged, it's missing. And this is a monumental tomb, and we think it might have been the burial place of Lady Home. And then here are just some of the pieces of carving that they've rescued. And you can see this one has some writing on it. Both of these have writing on it. There's quite a detailed bit. This is quite nice. It's just giving you some of the detail. Hopefully you can see that. And there's another one of the consecration marks. Now, as originally built, the Dunglass Collegiate Church, Dunglass, had a choir and a nave. Off to the north side of the choir is the sacristy, which is used for the priests to prepare for services in the burial aisle of the Home family. So that's where we've just been. By the early 1500s, the north and south transepts had been added to the church to provide extra chapels, and a tower was built above the crossing. So just ahead here, when we looked up, we were looking up into the tower, so we can't see it from here, but that was added later. You see the mark I showed you. I can't believe they knocked through the church like that. It's so sad, but at least the rest of it's intact, you know. And then just up here you can see another one of the consecration marks that's had a floor knee added or something, where they've done some additions to it. And we looked at the detail on this one. We have detail on this side as well. So the wall tomb that we looked at in the sacristy, it's got excellent carvings on it, as we saw. We've got the female head, so we're pretty sure that it's for Lady Home. So this is the north transept that we're looking at now. I'll just let you see the board. Now, in the medieval times, Dunglass was an important place. The main road between Scotland and England passed nearby. Okay, so it's the A1 today. If you're looking on a map, it's the A1. And close by to that stood the Home's stronghold of Dunglass Castle, which hasn't actually survived. There was only a small market town, and that's vanished. So all that really remains is this church. But look at these gravestones or markers. Very worn, but you can still see quite a bit of detail on them. And this one you can see where it had a coat of arms. Let's make out faint traces of the writing there. 1607. We have a cross, or I think it's a cross rather than a sword. (1592) GH. Another cross. Yeah, it's a cross. Look at the bottom there. And then we've got more writing. If we look here, we've got another face. That's a face. And here we definitely have a face. This Walton. And quite a bit of it's missing, but you can see how well decorated it would have been. Beautiful. I love churches, to be fair. And then here we've got, here lies Robert. Looks like Simpson, I'm not sure who, that must be died, of maybe, and then 1660, that could be 7, and I can't really make out the rest of it. There's an S there, so it could be Simpson. And there you can see the hourglass, the sands of time have run out. You've got the skull and the crossbones. It's very worn, but you can make out that's what that symbolism is. Now, Dunglass was no stranger to royal visits. James IV attended Mass at the church several times. James VI spent his last night on Scottish soil at Dunglass before proceeding to England for his coronation to become James I of England. Charles I spent a night here before his coronation in 1633. The last days of the church, you have 1540s, the English built a fort nearby and dug entrenchments around the church itself, which we'll see there. We'll pop out. So we'll go out the side door here and then we'll come round. This was part of the rough wooing, which, like I say, was a sort of a series of English invasions intended to coerce Scotland into a marriage contract between Mary Queen of Scots and Prince Edward, heir to the English throne. Beautiful grounds. So you can see the roof. The tower. Yeah, now the church was disestablished during the Protestant Reformation in 1650, but the provost and 12 canons who resided here may have actually been allowed to live out the rest of their days here. After this, the church fell into disrepair. I'll just take us over here so we can get a nice little look. Now the final straw came, oh so sad, the final straw for the church came in 1710, and I'll just show you it from this side. Oh, why would you do it? Yeah, the estate had passed into the Hall family by this point, and they had no need for a chapel, so it was unceremoniously converted into stables and a coach house. Most of the damage that we actually see today was basically because of that conversion. So the gaping hole at the east end here is all down to that. It dates from that time. Now the south transept of the church was later used by the Hall family as a burial aisle. We saw that when we were looking inside. That's to the left hand side of us as we look at it here, and that's what's probably helped preserve Dunglass from any more damage. Yeah, but a lot of churches or chapels like this, abbeys, cathedrals, once they stopped being used, they started getting quarried. People would start taking the stone to be used for building other structures. So we're very lucky that this is still here. I'll just take us round the other side. So, in fact, I think there's some detail on the edge here we can have a look at. Now, in 1919, Dunglass was bought by the Usher family, and visitors today, when you come here, you actually drive through their estate, and it's a very well maintained estate. They do weddings here, things like that. But beautifully maintained, so it's actually quite nice. Feels odd driving through it because you can tell you're definitely driving through an estate. That's just some of the carved detail that's on the outside. Yeah, now New Dunglass House was built by the Ushers to replace. It was built in the 1950s to replace Dunglass House, which actually burnt down in 1807 after. Well, it was demolished after a fire. So we've got some more Usher burials just outside here. Well, we're very, very lucky we still have this chapel, because we've lost so many, and it's still got its beautiful vaulted ceilings. Lots of damage, but yeah. And this is Basil Hall. And if we have a little look here, that beautiful rounded arch, and we can't really make out, but it would have had lovely carvings here. That looks like quite a creepy face, but I think it was probably foliage or something at one point. This is how we started. We came in the other side there. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tour of Dunglass Collegiate Church. Absolutely beautiful. So if you get the chance and you're interested in exploring East Lothian and the borders, it is worth it. There's all these little gems that you just don't realise are there. It's all the big castles and things that get all the publicity, but this is absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful ruin, lots of detail. So yeah, if you get the chance, I would definitely, if you're interested in church type architecture, in history, this is one. So you've got the ushers, the halls, the homes, so there's quite a lot of family connection there too. Now if you've enjoyed the way I've done the tour today, please subscribe, please like it, and pop in a comment if you've got any questions or anywhere else you would like to see as I go around Scotland.